My friends, I'm very happy. Today is Friday, and I hope you're tuning Truth Be Told Radio Network at 7:30 p.m. in your area, in the Eastern time, because Truth Be Told Radio Network is broadcasting these programs for now a long time. We have over 150 programs like this. I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, and I've been coming here every week to talk to you and hopefully to get you more interested in self care, in BioCare, and be working on your behalf. And by that I mean that I'd like you to be healthy. I'd like you to live a long life. I'd like you to work for many, many years and be productive and do that exactly what you like. If you can do that, and if a little bit of advice from this end is going to help you, I did my job. But I want you to tune in like every Friday night and listen to the program. If you miss it for any chance, you're going to be able to get back to us on Saturday. But it gets back a lot better than that. I would suggest you that you go to Spotify and search Truth Be Told Radio Network. And there you're going to have 150 hours of programming like this. And all subjects are touched. We talk about diabetes, we talk about high blood pressure, we talk about cancer, we talk about what BioCare really means. And I think all this advice can go a long way. And you know what I'd love you to do? I'd love you to share this information with other people because it's like the gospel. If we keep what we know for ourselves, nothing is going to happen. But knowledge is like a flower seed. If you spread it, you all of a sudden are going to have a beautiful country with beautiful colors that's going to produce honey and bees and everything that good lives can bring. But for that, we need to spread that seed. We need to share it. We have to let people know. And I'd like you to go and tell your coworkers or your family members and say, hey, listen to this. I think this is important. And the big advantage of Spotify is if you happen to be in your car driving and commuting, that would be a good chance to listen to these messages and get home or get to work or get to church with a message that you can deliver to other friends. Today, I'm going to talk about something that there is no way out. That's why it's so important. There's absolutely no way out. And that is aging. One thing that we will never be able to change is the passing of time. And passing of time brings a lot of things. Even Mother Earth changes year to year to year because the passing of time is exactly that, is change. And not all the times the changes are in what we consider a very positive way. But let me be very optimistic. I have always thought, because I have a lot of faith, that He who made me knew what He was doing, that my aging, my passing, is in a way a blessing. Because I give way to other generations, I give way to give opportunities to other people, and those people that I'm letting go my way are people that I love. They're my children, my nieces, my nephews, the kids I have met in school. I'm a teacher at the University of Baja. So I love when time passes that you find a fine doctor in a nice hospital who was in your classroom. So I think there is a blessing with the passing of time. We don't necessarily understand it that way, but I think we have to begin to understand that this is a God's plan to do something for better good. With that said, one of the problems that we have with aging, one of the biggest problems that we have with aging, is that we do not understand it. We see it coming. We know we're going to get older. We know that one day we're going to have more problems because we see it in our father, we see it in our grandfather, we see it in people that were here before us. And we think it's a matter of luck. Oh my God, he has high blood pressure. Oh, that's bad. I mean, tough luck. And he had a heart attack. Oh, poor him. He was so good, etc. We don't understand it. And the lack of understanding is what makes it more difficult to accept, and the most important thing, the consequences of not knowing what it is brings a lot more pain and problem to our life. What I'm saying? What I'm saying that if we understand life, if we understand how our bodies work, if we trust that God knows what He's doing as when He makes us older, it means that then I have to understand what I should be doing to, number one, postpone aging. We have seen it. You go to a class reunion and you say, my God, he looks so bad. He looks so bad and he's only 53. Oh, he's a very old man. And look at her. He's all bent with a cane, having a lot of problems, if not in a wheelchair. What happened to her? But then you turn the other side of the room and you say, oh my God, look at Professor Smith. He must be 80 something, and he's walking and talking and eating and having a lot of fun, and everybody's hanging around him because he's fun. He has a lot of stories, and he's telling us a lot of anecdotes about what happened in school. And you say, but he's over 80 and this person is 53. What happened? Is it really a matter of luck? No, it's a matter of how you deal with your body, how you treated your body and your life. That's why we use the word BioCare, because the Greek root for life is bio. That's why we say biology. So by doing all these things, by understanding what it really is, it's going to be a lot easier to not only cope with it, not only understand it as what it is, but also to bring it back as far as we can and have minor suffering, minor consequences. There's going to be some problems. I mean, they have to be some problems as we age, because after all, like any other thing in the world, the more we use it, the less life it's going to have. And that happens to us. But we have to understand what is really my body, what is my body doing, and how I can help. The first problem is because even researchers, even philosophers, even very well educated people in the world still debate if aging is part of a process, part of a normal process, or if it is the effect of all the damages and challenges that we have suffered through life, that have left an imprint in our body, that have damaged some of the systems, and that is doing some problem for us. That means that aging could be like adolescence or menopause, part of life. The other one is that because of the wear and tear of every day in life, we are accumulating damage that's going to show in how we move, how strong we are, etc. The truth is that we're somewhere in between. On one hand, yes, it is a process. Aging is a process. No matter what you do, you're going to age. But you're going to age slower, and I could use the word more gracious, which means you're going to be more active, more aware of things, better thinking, and you're going to be able to use a lot of your capacities to still live and enjoy. And with all that in perspective, we have to start figuring out what is happening to our body that we can help. And I'm going to begin touching. Before we go to the next segment, I'm going to begin touching with something that's very important. As we age, every single function, every single metabolic activity, every single biochemical change, every single hormone, every single everything is going to start acting down. It's going to be slowing. It's going to be losing its performance. And all that together is what we feel as we age. We feel some loss of energy, some loss of stamina, some loss of outlook. It's mental, it's everything. As we grow older, you start losing a number of things all around you in every single activity of your life. And then you say, how can I help this? And for many people, it's very painful because many people not only do not understand it, but absolutely refuse getting older. And they think of cures and changes, etc., etc. And throughout history, we have many examples of people that spent fortunes and power and everything to discover a magic formula that would keep them young forever. I wonder if that would be my goal, but nevertheless, you have people like that. But if you're with me, you think, I can accept it. I just want to be in good shape. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to not be a burden to anybody and still enjoy my family. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So I want you to stay with me, follow me on social media, and follow me in Truth Be Told Radio Network. I'll be with you. My dear friends, we're talking about aging. So I want you to stick with me through the whole program. Actually, this is the second program that we talk about aging. We have already produced one, and hopefully you heard it, hopefully you watched it, and hopefully you learned something from it. And this is the second program, because aging is with everybody, no matter, from the moment you are born, you begin aging. So that's universal. There's no way out. Time passes, and with time, things changes within our body. So I want you to understand it better so you can postpone it and you can go through it with much less problems than many people that you know who I'm talking about. And I'm going to be very clear about that. So I'm Dr. Rodrigo Rodriguez, and I have the privilege of going into your lives once a week and share these moments and think of what is exactly life, what is a medical condition, what is a disease, what is inflammation, what is a health problem, and how all these things prevent us from living happy and how we can help to change things. And the first lessons of the whole situation is that we have to be proactive. We need an individual commitment to make a change. The paradigm that we lived with for many, many years, let's say for the last, I don't know, 100 years, that if we had a problem, a health problem, we could go to a doctor, the doctor would write a prescription, and that's the end of it. It's not valid anymore. We are looking at self-inflicted diseases that affect just about everybody, that are going to kill the vast majority of us, and that we are paying for those diseases. We're bringing them onto ourselves because of lifestyle, because of what we eat, because the way we handle our general lifestyle. And the good news is that if we reverse and we start going back to basics, we can control all of those problems, and we're going to be healthier, longer, and be much better. And that includes aging. Why? Because I was telling you that a big part of the aging problem is that we don't understand it. And if we don't understand it, then we don't know what to do about it. You say, well, I think you're getting older faster than. And what you do, you go and buy a cosmetic, either to try to change something or because you want to mask it up, like with makeup. And you're not going to get very far with that because the pains and aches are going to be there anyway. So every time I hear about this cream or this cosmetic or this procedure, which is merely cosmetic, I always think health comes from within. Beauty comes from within. So if we don't make the changes from within, nothing is going to work. Nothing is going to last. So here's probably what is to me the most important fact of aging. Metabolic rate, metabolic activity. And we have to understand metabolic, the word, as a chain of changes that change one molecule to a different molecule to serve a purpose. It's a series, it's a process of changes. Simple. You eat a donut. Well, let me tell you, cells do not work with donuts. They work with glucose. That's their energy source. So if you eat a donut, you're going to need a very complex chain of events that are going to turn that donut into a different type of nutrient that the body can use. That is metabolism. You have to digest it. You have to put it at disposal of the intestinal villi, and it has to be absorbed and has to go to the liver, and it's going to have to be degraded until you get glucose. And glucose you're going to serve through the blood flow to every cell in the body. Now it can work. Well, all those changes is what's going to be called metabolism. Okay? Now, that process, that speed slows down as time passes. And I'm not telling you as when you get old, because we think, well, when I get to be 80. No, I'm going to give you a simple number. Once you reach 50 years old, which is the new 40s, you cannot say a 50-year-old is an old person. Well, when you're 50, your metabolic rate is 30% slower. What does that mean? That if you are eating 2,000 calories a day, now for your body is like handling 2,600 calories a day. Won't be able to do it that well. And what's going to happen? You're going to gain weight, you're going to get a fatty liver, your blood pressure is going to go up, your heart rate has to be going up, your kidney function is going to be affected, and you start creating a chain of things that are going to make you feel and look older. And that's the person that I was talking about in your school reunion. That's the person that you look at and you say, what happened to this person? Well, it's just that we are unaware of simple facts like this. If, as I reach 50, my ability to handle food is going to be reduced by 30%, what's the logical thing to do? You know the answer, but you don't want even to think about it. We hate the answer. We have to eat less. Isn't that simple? This is what we call a calorie balance. Caloric balance is very important. How much we eat, how much we spend. But for the vast majority of people, this doesn't make any click. There's no consequence. On one hand, we eat. On the other hand, we go and sit in a couch to watch a TV game. And we scream and everything while we eat our nachos and beer and everything. And we're 55. And we're not running in the field. I mean, you didn't make that pass. You didn't run to catch it. You're sitting down watching that game. Yet you're bringing so many calories. I mean, forget about the fact that they're lousy food. Forget about that. Just the mere calorie intake in view of a very sedentary person is going to be a real problem. What is the body going to do? That excess calorie is going to go to your liver, and you're going to have a fatty liver, and it's going to go to the belly fat, and you're going to have a beer belly. It even has a name for it. And you're going to feel tired next day, and your ability to move and everything is going to be more difficult. Of course, you weigh 10 pounds, 20 pounds more. And you're still the same body, you're still the same muscle, you're going to be still everything. Do we have a problem? Do I have to explain it clearer than that? Now, add to what I'm saying, that everything starts to go down, add the fact that once we reach 40, not even 50, 40 years old, we're going to start losing muscle mass, about 10% every decade, which means by the time we're 50, we have 10% less. By the time we're 60, we have 20% less. And you see it. You see in your grandmother, in your grandpa. You can see how all the muscles become flaccid, how they have more problem to stand up and to move. Part of it is because they don't have the same muscle mass. The relationship between muscle mass, strength, and mobility is absolutely direct. The more muscle you have versus your body weight, you're going to move faster. That's an adolescent. But if you're fat and heavy and have also lost 20% of your fat, of your muscle tissue, guess what? You will not be able to move freely or flawless. You're going to be having problem standing up, moving around, doing things. And then what? Then you go to your reunion and you see somebody that's 55 in a wheelchair or with a cane. And it's a lot more than what I'm saying. And we're going to touch on that once we talk about how we reduce the ability to create nutrients. Many nutrients of the body are created within the body. Well, we lose part of that too. Like vitamin D, we produce less vitamin D with the same kind of sunlight exposure. Patients tell me all the time, but doctor, I get sunlight and I go with my child, we go out for an errand and I have a short sleeve. Yes, but your children are adolescents or young people. They produce a lot more vitamin D with the same amount of sunlight. We don't. If we lose vitamin D, we lose muscle strength, bone strength, equilibrium. That's why older people have a lot of problem with equilibrium. And that's why it's important that we check it out. So I could go on, but you're going to see as we go part by part that you will understand it better. And at the end, I'm going to give you a real brief, easy to follow summary because I want you to be healthy. I want you to call me to say how well you feel. Hello, my friends. How are you doing? I'm back. I'm very excited, ready to go because I'm telling you this time about what is aging and how, if we understand it, if we know what we're facing, we can make a lot of things, a lot of moves to tame it down. And it's not going to be as bad as it could be. And we were talking about your last class reunion where you see many people that should be traveling and having a good time, that they're already sick and in a wheelchair and having problems, bent over, because they just never got the possibility of keeping a strong body. You can be, I mean, we have seen it countless of times. You probably know people in your area or in your own family that are 80 years old, still working, or people that are 90 and they run a marathon, which, by the way, they are 90 because they run a marathon. It's not that they can run a marathon because of any other reason. No, because they keep on running, because they keep a very active life, is because they get to be 90 in good shape. So we're talking about how the loss of speed and in metabolic changes can bring a lot of problems if we don't understand it. Now people tell me, okay, doctor, what can I do? I'm going to give you two words of what you can do with food as you grow older. One is frugal, the other one is choosy. We have to eat less and we have to choose better. It's not too complicated. You have to say, oh, I used to have these so many hamburgers. No, I can't anymore. I'm going to have one, but I'm going to buy Japanese steak. I'm going to buy something that has a different quality. And if I do that, I'm going to eat good quality, smaller amount. So by choosing our foods, we can do a lot better. Probably one of the most frequent comments I get from people when I say they should eat better is when they tell me, but doctor, salmon is expensive, which brings two things. One, yes, people know, I don't have to tell them, that salmon is a great food. So they know it. That's at least part of the battle that I won. They understand that salmon is a good food. But then comes the problem of price. Yeah, but when you buy junk food, you eat a lot. I mean, all you have to do is look at the typical dish of nachos. God, that would feed an army of regular amount of calories. So I don't know how we have associated, but we have associated the amount of food to our well-being. And I'm going to go further, which is another of the problems. As we age, we have more economic freedom. And when we have more money, for some reason, we have to eat more. I remember when I was a student at the university that we would buy sometimes a sandwich and divide it into two because we didn't have the money to buy more. Or I would buy something and the other friend would buy a banana and then we shared the food. But as you grow older and you have more money, then you eat everything you thought you deserve. And by doing that, you're just bringing a lot of calories to your body that now you cannot digest, or you cannot digest fast enough. Or worse, you're eating a lot of very bad foods, like the nachos and beer on a football night. So that is a problem. So we grow fatter, we increase the amount of belly fat. Remember that belly fat is a problem because the fat that accumulates in the waistline is hormonally active. The fat you have here, or in the buttocks, or in your breasts, or in your legs, your thighs, is not a problem. But the one you accumulate in your abdomen has hormonal activity, pro-inflammatory activity. So that's the fat you have to avoid. And the more you eat and the less physically active you are, the more fat you're going to bring to your body. So if you're better off, congratulations, I'm happy for you. But spend your money in a different way. I mean, feed other people, save it, but don't eat it up. Because what you're doing is you're creating the conditions to where my advice would be, why don't you save the money, because you're going to need a doctor. You're going to need a hospital. The next part of the equation, it's very related to food, and that is fiber up. We have to also know, we have to also be conscientious of the fact that a lot of the functions that benefit our body, from mental to hormonal to enzymatic to immunological, happen in the gut. But we have made so many changes in the food we eat that we have left out the fiber. Fiber is very important to be healthy. And you say, where is fiber? Fruit, vegetables, you know. And you say, okay, I hate broccoli. Fine. I'm going to give you a hint. You know very well that an apple a day keeps a doctor away. Why don't you try 3 apples a day? Just like a doctor's prescription. 1 apple with every meal. You know what's that going to give you? That's going to give you enough fiber for 24 hours. It's simple. We just have to know it. We just have to understand it. And then you say, okay, because that's going to improve the health of my intestinal flora. And as I do that, my tummy volume is going to be reduced. I'm going to have better intestinal function, but the most important part is I'm going to be producing hormones, antibodies, immune cells, etc., etc., etc. You know what saved many people in the COVID epidemic? T lymphocytes. Because these T lymphocytes are the ones that keep immunity against viruses. It's not antibodies. When you have a virus, you have to have a cell that kills the virus, not an antibody. Well, guess what? Those cells are really, really enhanced in their functions in the intestinal tract. Actually, our intestinal tract is the largest immunological organ of the body. Not the tonsils, not the spleen, it's the gut. But the gut, to be healthy, needs fiber. So as important as food, as important as physical activity, fiber is another critical factor. If you cover these three well, you're going to live a lot healthier. Just three of them. Actually, my grand finale is 10. But all of them are very much related. But we will not be able to do it if we do not understand why. When we begin to understand why, when we can share it to other people, when we can discuss it at home with our people at the dinner table, when we can review all these things, we're going to begin to say, this makes sense, let's try it out. And write down the weight. You're going to see that your family in no time is going to accumulate pounds and pounds and pounds of weight loss and a lot of well-being. Kids are going to go out and play. You're going to feel like mowing the lawn. Everybody's going to feel like pitching in and vacuum clean the house and clean up the garage and do everything that we haven't done for a long time because we didn't feel like it. Because we were depleted in energy. Because we were depleted in stamina. Because we were depleted in nutrients. But now that we're bringing everything back, we feel like, oh yes, I want to do this. Oh yes, I can do that. And the more we do, the better off we're going to be. So what we have to do also, of course, I don't have to tell you, it's very simple. Get rid of toxins. We don't need tobacco. I have said repeatedly, there's not one single benefit in smoking tobacco. Other products might be questionable. Tobacco is not. It's bad, period. But, doctor, what if I just have one? What if I... No, tobacco is bad. It's bad for you, it's bad for anyone around you that smokes the smoke. So don't do it. And if you have to do it, please hide in a cave. Don't share it with people that you love. Don't share it with people that you hate. Don't share it with anybody. And if you want to drink, be conscientious about it. Be careful. I normally advise people to do fermented drinks, like wine and beer. But be reasonable, because alcohol in itself is a toxin. If you want to do it, fine. Some reports say it might even be helpful, but in very small amounts. So if you want to do something, okay. I'm not totally against it. Tobacco, I am, but the other one. when we start getting all these things together, when we start saying, okay, I think we've got a plan. Okay, I think I understand several parts of it. Okay, family, are you in this with me, yes or no? Let's go for it. And that's what I want to hear. Well, my friends, we're approaching the end of this program today. That I hope you're listening Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time in Truth Be Told Radio Network. There's going to be a rerun the following Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, Truth Be Told Radio Network. But also, you will be able to search for Truth Be Told Radio Network in Spotify and not only listen to this program, but over 150 programs with different subjects. All of them are in about 12, 13-minute segments. So you can listen to some of them, you can listen to all of them, you can see what you like, you can see what you don't necessarily like, and you can share them. That's to me the most important thing. If you share them with somebody and say, I think this would be worth listening to. And if you feel that either you have any question or you have any comment or you have anything that you have to say, you can go to any of the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, uh, YouTube, etc., and say, I have this opinion. We look for your questions and comments all the time, and we're going to answer them as soon as possible. And by that I mean probably within 24 hours. So if you have any question, anything in your mind, you can send a message and say, I have this question. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to subscribe to anything. This is absolutely free. No strings attached. I want you to have the freedom to ask a doctor a simple, common question and be able to get an honest answer. So you don't have to give me anything of your personal information. Well, probably your body weight and things like that, your blood pressure, if the question is related to that. But other than that, I'll be very happy to help you. Because to me, the world should be healthy. But we're not looking at a healthy world. We're looking at an ailing world. And what worries me the most is that I see disease in younger and younger people. And with that said, we're talking about aging. But aging, whether it's a process or whether it's a program, event of life, shouldn't happen the way we're looking at it. It shouldn't end with a person with Alzheimer's, where they cannot recognize their loved ones. Shouldn't end with somebody in a wheelchair, particularly before time. Shouldn't end with a person with tubes and unconscious in a hospital bed with all sorts of life support. No, we should get to be 80 or 90. And when God says, okay, we'll be happy to say bye, I'm going to the Lord's home, and I hope I left a mark, and I hope I made my children happy, and I hope I showed them how to live well. That's the most important part to me. Economy is aside. But if they know how to live if they know how to take care of themselves, if they know how to raise their families, I did my job. And that's what I like to think of when we're talking about aging. Aging is a process, we have said it, that it's inevitable. It's going to happen, whether we like it or not. What we have to do is understand it better, one. And I had a patient that once gave me this little piece of advice, which I love. She told me, you know what, doctor? One thing that should come with aging is a little bit of humbleness. Why humbleness? Because we have to accept things that are happening. And we should accept them with joy. Because as I was saying before, I know that I'm going to be departing, but I'm going to leave room for my children, for the children of my friends, to the new generation that hopefully is going to be healthier and more entrepreneurial or resourceful than our generation was. So, in any way, I hope that they are going to be happy. But we need our health. And here I'm going to give you 10 little things that you can look at them at Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. They're going to be in all our social media, and they're very easy to follow. Number one, please, that you can doing right now. We need a caloric balance. What's a caloric balance? Well, you weigh what you eat versus what you spend. If your life is quiet, if you work in an office, if you don't do too much physically, be frugal. Eat less. Have a small salad, have a little piece of fish, something like that, etc. Your income has nothing to do with what you should eat. People think that if, oh, I'm doing so well, I could afford a bottle of wine and a cigar and a 16-ounce steak. No, 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 that's not for you. You're hurting yourself. You say, no, I work in an office, I don't do too much. Well, I could have a small 8-ounce filet, or I could have a small piece of chicken, or I could have a very nice salad with a hard-boiled egg. Things that are going to be frugal, nutritious, and good for me. And I'm going to also make sure that those calories I'm having in are going to go out. That is what I call a caloric balance. What else we have to do? To do that, we have to be frugal and we have to be choosy. In other words, as we grow older, we not only eat less, but we choose better the foods that we eat. Because by choosing the foods that we eat, we're going to choose the ones that are nutrient compact, low calorie, high quality of nutritional ingredients, vitamins, trace minerals, essential fatty acids, etc. And very few can beat fish, deep ocean fish. So let's get fish, let's say 2-3 times a week at least. And if we're going to have other type of foods, be frugal about it. Your salads are very important because we said fiber up. So your salads, your fruits, your vegetables, snack on them. Not on anything that comes in a foil. If you want to snack on something, you could have an orange, a whole orange. Peel it and eat it. The white of the edge is pectin, and that is anti-inflammatory. It's going to let you live longer, healthier. It's going to keep disease away. Not orange juice, a whole orange. You peel it, you eat it, you're going to have a lot of good nutrition. Design a plan. That's very important. Make a plan. I tell my patients, get in the situation room. You get a whole family and you make a plan. What are we going to be doing? And that plan has to include our physical activity program. Move. I have a very good friend. She's a doctor, and she always tells people, move. Because the more we move, the more activity we do, the better off we're going to be. And just cleaning the house, walking, going to the mall, and walk around the mall several times, indoors, so you have air conditioning, surveillance, everything. And you just make sure that you're adding 30 minutes of active, brisk walk every day to your life. What is next? What's next is get away from toxins. Toxins are not good for you. You don't want to use your heart's earned money to buy cigarettes or foods that contain a lot of chemicals. Processed foods, all of them, are loaded with sugar, with sodium, with things you don't want in your life. So stay away from them. That's going to be a very simple rule to understand. Don't intoxicate yourself. Get your numbers. By that I mean get your body mass index, your blood pressure, your sugar level periodically, 2-3 times a year, so you know that everything is in check. See, you can check your vitamin D level, etc. There are many general chemistry things that you can do. Stress identification and management. Stress is killing us. It's killing many people. Stress to me is a precancerous condition. I have seen countless cases of cancers that were triggered by stressful situations. So if you can help it, do it. If you cannot help it, pray and learn to handle it, because stress can kill you. You need sleep. We have to sleep so many hours a day. And play everything with a rhythm. Get yourself a clock. You know, our body is handled by a lot of internal functions that depend on sunlight. The more regular we are with the way we live, we're going to live longer. That's a fact, that's been shown. If we get up about the same time, if we have our meals about the same time, if we exercise about the same time, if we rest about the same time, if we go to sleep about the same time and sleep so many hours a day, okay, you can go on Friday dancing or having dinner. But in the meantime, try to keep a schedule. The closer you are to a clock, the better off you're going to be. And if you want to make this really well, all you have to do is get a BioCare Health Getaway. Come to BioCare. We'll get everything started. We will have a full chart of activities that you're going to do, and you're going to see how your life changes for the better. BioCaring is fantastic. And once you choose to BioCare, everything is possible.